player will start the level coming from this door over here, and the first thing you see here is, well, you have this lamp over here, and there's a pipe running from over here, and the idea is that the pipe would probably have some sort of color, like yellow or red or something like that, so your eyes follow it, and that's where you need to go forward here. And then what you will see, this over here, well, the idea is that there's supposed to be a wrench here, and if you've played games like Resident Evil, I think like the gems in the game, at least in Resident Evil 4, would glimmer from time to time. So the idea is that a wrench here would glimmer from time to time, set at a certain time with a timer, I suppose. If the player can't figure it out themselves, then it would start glimmering. And there's a turret here. Well, if you could, as you could see in the document I have in my concept, you can see that the turret will have a certain what do you call it, field of vision. So if the player enters it, well, they'll basically get insta-killed. What's happening is that there's enemies coming from over here, walking in here, and then the turret is shooting them. So the enemies are just spawning, I guess infinitely spawning from over here. And the player is then alerted that, oh, if I walk into this the line of sight of the into the line of sight of the turret, I'll just get killed immediately. So the player then is kind of stuck here, and they have to figure it out. What are they going to do here? And also, I thought what maybe could be a good idea is to have an item or something down here, because there's a corridor here. So I'm telling the player that, oh, you can go down here. It is possible to do that, and the player just has to figure out how. And another way that I use to highlight the spot the player needs to pay attention to is to over here with the lamp. So I built this lamp here, and it's just, there's a spotlight here. I'm basically just telling the player, pay attention to this area. So the danger of this area and the solution is all in the same place, I suppose. And yeah, another sign of this being dangerous is there's blood or something like that on the floor. And something that I did forget to mention, what would happen when the player does shoot the wrench. Well, the point is that this is like a steam pipe, and the turret is like a heat-seeking, I suppose, an infrared heat-seeking turret. So when you shoot the steam covers, starts spraying all over the place, and then there's just, I suppose that the turret sees heat all over the place. So then the turret would stop firing because there's just heat, if that makes sense. Or maybe the turret would start firing everywhere. But I feel like if it's just heat everywhere that it's sensing, then it would just stop firing, because you don't want the turret to start firing everywhere and accidentally shoot someone, I suppose. So it would just stop shooting, and then the player can walk down here. But then the enemies start coming after you, so you have to kind of just, quickly walk further down. The enemies come at you, you would then have a weapon and shoot. You could take the item and then continue down here. And then what you could also do is you could also continue this way, of course. Also go this way. And I think the enemy spawner would then, the infinite, or looping, enemy spawner would stop over here once you've shot the turret, and then you can go this way as well. That's as far as I made it. And just quickly, as a final thing, I suppose I could just show what the map or the level looks like in with more perspective. It looks something like this. And I could just turn this on real quick. Yeah, it looks something like this. Yeah, I feel like one problem I had was trying to figure out how to make this work. So the wall wouldn't cover, uh, wouldn't be in the way, so I had to do this. I honestly had no idea if this is how you would do it, if there's a better way of doing something similar to this, but this was at least a solution that I found that seems to work pretty well, I think. A little bit of, but it works pretty well. Yep, that's it.